On June 16th, we all learned that Revlon filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. And I honestly can say I didn't see it coming. I mean, it's not like I constantly bought their products. I mean, I do have a couple of liners here and there, but I know there are many out there who do. Currently, Revlon has roughly around 2.9 million Instagram followers, 449.9 thousand Twitter followers, and 9.8 million Facebook followers. That's impressive for a brand that's over 88 years old. Think about it. They were able to keep a great amount of following through two of the toughest eras in America, the Great Depression and COVID. And I mean, we can talk about how we're currently going through a recession, but that's a completely different type of video. All while they were diversifying their brand and kicking down doors within cosmetics, hair care, fragrance, skincare, and many more. They've kept the 50s and all as their staple lip color, could be seen everywhere. And for everyone that's within my generation, it seems we couldn't outrun the commercials, ads, and the popular slogan that made a resurgence from their 80s slogan, "Be Unforgettable." Even with their dominance and success, they have been met with some downfalls and criticisms from customers, making us wonder if their own slogan became the paradox of their fate. Has Revlon become unforgettable? They had a very popular brand ambassador in the most recent years, but was that enough to even get them back on track after COVID? What were some of their mistakes, and can they make a comeback from it? Because we really don't want to be here all day, I'm not going to pull information. I'm just going to sum a lot of it up for the sake of time. Revlon credits their identity to Miss Elizabeth Arden, who is recognized as one of the innovative individuals to change the beauty sector with her Montezuma red colored lipstick. Some other innovators and staples in making Revlon who they are today is a chemist named Charles Lachman and the siblings Joseph Revzon and Charles Revlon, with Charles being credited as the one to invest $300 in Revlon. The name was basically chosen as combining all three of their names. Side note, did you know that $300 that was invested in 1932, the time the brand was started, is currently estimated about $6,400 today? In 1932, Revlon introduced all three founders who worked diligently together and sold their signature nail polish of 21 shades, excluding the popular red that's significant with the brand, with the introduction of matching lip shades the following year, making them a multi-million-dollar company by 1942. Thanks to their amazing marketing strategies, such as choosing names for the ads that made the lipsticks more sought after. They would choose names such as Cherries in the Snow and Fire and Ice. Later in 1956, they began to change the industry again by being the first brand to establish a brand ambassador, a method that is still common today. In the 1960s, they diversified their brand once more by going into hair care, marketing towards hair dyes, and acquiring Mitchum, the deodorant brand, about 5 years later. We were also able to see the launch of their Flawless Finish foundation in 1972. We know the 70s were a time where the shades were limited. I was just not able to find out how many shades were actually included in their first edition. We can't forget about the brand going public in 1996 for just $24 a share, making them worth about $2.6 billion at that time. At the turn of the century, the brand also sold their professional product division for $315 million, with Revlon saying it sold the division due to their fourth quarter numbers. Revlon also stated that their losses for the fourth quarter was about $168.7 million from $69.1 million in the year prior. Excluding non-recurring items, Revlon lost about $128.6 million compared with the income of $6.5 million or 13 cents a share. Their sales also fell 34.3% to $414.4 million from $630.5 million. For the year, Revlon losses ballooned to $371.5 million from $143.2 million. Excluding non-recurring items, Revlon lost $309.3 million against income of $8.5 million or 17 cents a share. While this was a downside, they were quickly able to jump ship and pivot into a new direction. Currently, Revlon is owned by McAndrews and Forbes, with the CEO of Revlon being Deborah Perlman. Hopefully I'm pronouncing her last name right. It's clear she was a part of the McAndrews well before the acquisition. She took over after Fabian Garcia, who struggled to boost Revlon's revenue. Fast Company states how the net sales declined with an operating loss of $61.7 million, about $20 million difference from 2017's first quarter. Perlman can also be seen stating, if you're looking at the shift in the industry today, the brands that are being picked up are the brands that have accelerated growth in the market and have leveraged what I consider to be influencer marketing. My perspective is do that in the right way for our brands in order to reclaim some of the position in the market. All what she stated is true. It is clear that Revlon has always been a little too late to changing. Influencer marketing has been around for a long time, but brands such as Sephora, e.l.f., and many others have done that for years now. And we all know that the market has truly moved from that. It's moved towards influencers being hands-on and not just the face of something. Many have started their own brands and so forth. We do know that in current times, Revlon has reached out to some popular individuals to save the brand, but will that be enough? Mainly because, it is kind of late for them to hop into that lane. Over the years, Revlon has had many ambassadors such as Emma Stone, Olivia Wilde, Gwen Stefani, Reese Witherspoon, but to adapt to the current pop culture, Revlon had to go in a different direction. They had to choose someone that was considered a movement, and they were able to find that with Meg Thee Stallion. On June 28, 2021, the Hot Girl Sunset collection was introduced to the masses, with Meg admitting that she did her own makeup for the campaign. This collection was a limited edition, like many of the other collabs that we have seen from other brands. Even with the $40 price range, it was able to sell out within the first 4 hours. Now, I personally believe the collection did well at this time, mainly due to Meg's success for the Hot Girl Summer movement, her song Savage, and her fun persona. Based on Meg's statement, I believe the brand was also popular because of the way she constantly promotes the product. It made her fans feel like they are actually buying something that she uses instead of a brand milking her name. There were promos by doing videos, pictures, and currently you can go on social media. You can see that Meg and her makeup artist tag the products that she used. And more than likely, surprise, surprise, what are the products? Her Revlon collection. Now, I never used the product, so I wouldn't be able to give an honest review, but this is what many had to say about the products. On the surface, the collab was able to sell out super fast, and it contributed to decreasing the company's net loss. While that's great, their debt still increased, and the cash flow is showing something completely different, meaning there's way too much money leaving the business and not enough income. This may have resulted in that Chapter 11 bankruptcy, but I also believe there are some other things that contributed to this outside of the financials. While Revlon filed bankruptcy recently, it was revealed that Reliance Industries is planning to buy Revlon out of bankruptcy. This credible speculation was given by Barron's, and Revlon hasn't responded yet, so we'll have to wait to see if they're going to go through with it. Either way, filing Chapter 11 or allowing Reliance to buy them out has the potential to kind of save the company, especially if they gear up to going into a different direction. If I was them personally, I would go through the acquisition, because I found that on top of the billions owed, they could possibly owe Citigroup due to the accidental payment. And it's weird that Citigroup paid off Revlon's debt by accident with their own money, but it's possible that Revlon is still liable. And that plus the other debts all could be due by 2024. That's a lot in a short period of time, especially when you have to file for bankruptcy because you already are not having enough cash flowing in. So basically, what could be done? Revlon mentioned the supply chain disruption, inflation, and debt as the main cause for bankruptcy. And while this is accurate, it is clear that there were problems way before any of that. I mean, the former CEO stepped down in 2018 due to operation expenses. So it's clear that expenses have always been a problem. So the first step I think they would need to do to bounce back is to, one, pay off their debt. CBS stated that Revlon's debt contributes about between 1 to 10 billion in assets and 3.3 billion in long-term debts. Another issue with the brand, I believe, that is behind the bankruptcy is because there's not enough products flying off the shelf. Now, we can say it's because of COVID, and yes, because of COVID, we weren't buying makeup as much, but we have moved past that, and we're starting to see people buy a lot more. And actually, I take that back, because we definitely seen a lot of videos on TikTok and Instagram of people still using makeup. So it's an excuse, but it's not an excuse. But it is clear that they are very slow to adapting to the times. It's kind of like a cycle for them. In the 90s, they were slow in promoting what is known as the muted tones instead of their signature red lipstick. It is clear that they are still slow to change today. I mean, what's really going on with their hair care products? Consumers still don't care for their hairbrushes because it causes damage. They still lack the shade range for foundation, leaving that door to be opened by other brands. Someone even said that they hated the smell of their lipsticks, which I thought was weird. And the fragrance aren't what many are searching for today. So I'd say they have to do better at listening to their consumers and making changes there. We've seen the best and the worst of this brand through 88 plus years, but I believe they may have the potential to turn everything around if they become more proactive instead of being reactive in this industry. Things are changing quickly and very drastically. If they can't get out of debt to decrease their liabilities, they will have a hard time being able to become proactive, as this will take money and consideration to what consumers want. So do I think that Revlon can make a comeback? Maybe. I believe they possibly could. But it all depends on what the CEOs have in store. Thank you all for tuning in to why I believe Revlon is going bankrupt and how they could possibly turn it around by talking about some of the problems that we see. Many of the biggest problems being, number one, the debt. They have to get rid of the debt. But two, becoming more proactive in this industry and being quick to the changes that are going on within society. So thank you all for tuning in, and I will see you all next time.